Here's the story I just read on the video the other day. I have a couple maybe questions on it, but the story is a beautiful story. What's the story? The- it was when was this? 30 years ago, something. Israel made what was called Mivtza Shlomo. Mivtza Shlomo. What was the what is it the mission Solomon to bring the Ethiopian Jews to Israel. Bring the Ethiopian Jews to Israel. There's a bit of a question if the Ethiopian Jews are really all Jews. If they're not, if they have to go through a bit of it, but nevertheless, they held themselves to be Jews and they were separate, and they were caught in the middle of this huge revolution. There was a whole big civil war going on over there. So uh, I guess one side was like the ruling. One side on this war, it sort of ruled over. America didn't recognize the revolutionary class that there was the ruling one now because the war was still going on. Anyway, so Israel, whatever reason it was, decided to get the Ethiopians out of Ethiopia. Get the Ethiopians out of Ethiopia. The Jewish Ethiopians. So it appealed to this new ruler, who his also rulership wasn't that stable because the war was going on. But the new ruler, if he would agree to release the Jews, so he demanded an exorbitant amount of money to release the Jews. So they talked him down. They talked him down it didn't say how much money there was, but they talked him down. So he agreed to a reasonable amount of money. But he also had another demand, and that was that he wanted a letter from President Bush asking him to release these Jews. Like this is the first Bush, that he should release these Jews. So immediately, now this was sort of a big problem because President Bush officially did not recognize this new, revolutionary leadership that was ruling over. So the letter would sort of add give they say support to his to the new ruler, to the new government. Okay. Anyway, so immediately someone from Israel flew to New York, flew to Washington, and got an audience with President Bush. And President Bush heard what it was the request, and he said, "Okay, on one hand, he would like to write the letter because let the Jews go is good, but on the other hand, this would be giving credence and legitimacy to this new revolutionary government that stood up, which he doesn't want to do." So he didn't know what to do. He was in a quandary. So he made a meeting of the cabinet. And the cabinet it didn't say exactly, let's say there were 13 people in the cabinet. And so they voted. 6 were against him writing the letter because it would give support to these, to the evil people. They weren't allies of America. And 6 were for it. And there was one person that the whole thing depended on, and that was a man, a black man, a Negro. His name was Colin Powell. Colin Powell was, I think he had been like a general or something in the army, but he became like the Secretary of Defense. He had some sort of a high position over there. And he said that he's voting for it. He should write the letter. And he said, I want to tell you why. He said that once he was in there was a big fire in a building in Brooklyn or some big fire, and everybody left, but there was a woman, her children, she had left her children in the house. She just went out to the store or something, came back, and the fire broke out, and they weren't letting anybody in. And she was screaming, "Get my children out!" And the fire was going. She had 3 children that were in her house. I guess she locked the door so nobody would come in, and they were small children. They was, who knows, 3, 4, 5 years. So somebody there, a black fellow, a dark-skinned Jew, he took a blanket. He inundated the blanket, dipped the blanket into water. I guess there was a lot of water there over there from this, He wrapped it around and he ran into the place, ran up to the apartment. I guess she gave him the key, whatever. He opened the door and took the children out. It was still, the flames were still going, and he took the children out, grabbed all three of them, and he brought them down to safety. Brought them down to safety. And everybody applauded him and everything later. And the mother wanted to give him a reward, or somebody wanted to give him a reward. And he said, no, I don't want to. He said, I am a Jew from Ethiopia. I'm from Ethiopia, but I'm a Jew. And Jewish people don't take money for doing good deeds. You do a good deed, a mitzvah. You do a mitzvah, you don't take money. And Colin Powell said that one of those children was me. I was one of those children. This happened. And the Jew happened to be a Jew from Ethiopia. So I owe them, a tremendous debt. So I'll sign the paper. This is according to the story. I just heard the story. I'll sign. And he did. And because of that, it gave the ruler of Ethiopia, he gave the green light. And they brought these Ethiopians out. I think it was like, 14,000 or 20,000, whatever Ethiopians they brought out. Amazing story. Good story. It goes to show that a good deed, what you do good, comes around and is returned. And here it was returned, 10,000 times, 20,000 times more than the deed that he did. Have a good day with Mashiach. Now, see you all tomorrow.